Testing, testing. There we are. Good morning and welcome to Beyond the Gym Conversations That Matter. Now, as always, I'm your host, Andy Jinder, and if you are watching this on Spotify, you're actually watching me in Starbucks, and I have my coffee at the ready. Now, as you know, if you've been listening to this over, the last 4 or 5 months, the living situation at home isn't exactly the easiest to be able to record the podcast, obviously with a 2-year-old, with obviously the family living at home. And I wanted to be able to just do something that I can give you guys, because I love doing these. I love speaking here. I love obviously talking to camera. But one thing that I want to do is remove the barrier from me being able to do these. And it is definitely a huge confidence, not issue, but it's a huge confidence milestone for myself being able to do something like this in an area like this, because you're being open, you're being honest, you're sharing personal experiences, but I'm also camera up in Starbucks in the corner of somewhere. And exactly what I ask you guys to do is to push yourself out of your comfort zones, to do things that probably scare you. And if I'm being open, being honest with you, like, this definitely scares me, because you're recording yourself in public, number one, right? You're recording a podcast, and it's very, very easy to not do something that, makes you feel a little bit, oh, right? So in kind of solidarity with yourselves, I'm going to do something like this. And it helps me to do more, because I want to do more of these. I want to be able to help you. And yeah, I'm just really, really looking forward to doing this. A little bit more with you. So let's get into really the importance of planning and discipline in December, and how that's going to be able to help you be guilt-free, be flexible, and be able to just implement some of these strategies that I'm going to be able to help you. And because we've sat down with a lot of our guys over the last couple of weeks, sitting down and planning December, really, with their training, their social events, their work parties, you name it. Okay. And what really helps them, and like, this is 20-30 minute call that I do with my guys, and they come off that call super clear. They know exactly what to do. They feel in control. They know exactly what Christmas entails, and they know that they can enjoy Christmas without the guilt, without kind of the frustration, because they've done the work in the lead up to it, and they know exactly what they're going to do after it as well. So December requires more discipline from yourself. It doesn't mean being strict. It means holding yourself to a higher standard, because December comes with more social events. It comes with more alcohol if you're drinking. Obviously, I'm 11 months not drinking now, but I will be having a drink next year. I just committed to obviously having the whole of 2025 without a drink. But it is going to be more food. We're going to have more stress. The kids are off. They're off from school. You're changing the gym hours, disrupted routines, and everything becomes harder when you don't plan. Right? It becomes obviously easier when you do, because, you're in control. You know exactly where you stand. You know what you're doing. And it's going to make the barrier to you succeeding and you being able to go through Christmas without the frustration, without the guilt, a hell of a lot easier. So that's really what I want for yourself. And what I was saying before about leaning into the uncomfortableness of doing so, like, there's going to be people that are coming in and out of here and definitely going to pull my attention, but you 100% have me switched on right now. So number one, let me have a sip of my coffee, because I do not want it going cold. And also, at the end of this video, let me know what you think of this, because I definitely want to do more of this, because it's quite a cool thing to do from my side. So number one is going to be calorie cycling. Now, calorie cycling allows you to enjoy the Christmas meals, the nights out, without derailing your progress. But really what you need to be aware of is, what current calories are you on right now? Because say, for example, you're on, let's say, 2,000 to 2,200, right? That's going to give you a little bit more room to cycle your calories throughout the week, right? So banking calories for the weekend. Let's say, for example, you have a big Christmas do on the Saturday. Well, that means that you can save 200, 300, 400, maybe a really big push of your calories per day, to be able to give you more leniency to go have a few beers, go have extra food, etc., etc. Now, that's obviously the ideal scenario to be in, and hopefully you've done the work to be able to get yourself in that position. But if your calories are at, let's say, 1,800, then that's not leaving you much room for the maneuver when it comes to social events in regards to calorie cycling. So you need to know where you are in the position that you are, because if, say, for example, you're at that 1800 calorie mark now, and you're like, right, okay, yeah, I'm going to implement this calorie cycling, and you're going to go to 1500 calories. Yes, you're able to do so. But if you're not used to that, if you do not have the tactics in place on how to make food stretch that little bit further, if you don't know how to have high volume food and low calorie options, then that's going to be a huge, huge struggle for you. So with the caveat of, don't do it if you don't have the tools, education, and support on how to do so, because what it's going to lead to is going to lead to you overeating. It's going to lead to you being incredibly hungry, and then it's going to lead to you just really acting out of emotion when it comes to the social events, etc. And it's just going to lead you down a bad path, which means the fluctuations are going to be more, the guilt's going to be more, and so on. Okay, so how do we do that? Now, I can say eat lighter in the day, but what I want you to think of is, like, don't think of just having breakfast or lunch just because of the sake of it, right? So I want you to think of your meals as like meal 1, meal 2, meal 3. Okay, so especially just in this phase right now, in eating towards a big, big social event. Okay, now meal 1, meal 2, they need to be high protein, they need to be high volume, but they need to be lower in calorie, so that you save the majority of your calories for later on in the day, so that you can be flexible, you can have beer, you can have everything else for it, with obviously on that side of things. Now, if you obviously have the space to do so, but even if you don't, if you're on 18, 17, 1600 calories, then you need to be doing this as well. And that's really pushing the calories for the later on in the day. Having high protein to begin with, just because it's the first meal of the day, doesn't mean that you can't have beef. It doesn't mean you can't have eggs. You can't have chicken, example. Like, they're going to be the things that are going to fill you up more because they're higher in protein. They're going to satiate you longer, and that means you're going to have more flexibility in the evenings as well. Okay, so you're creating space instead of just relying on the willpower that you feel that kind of dwindles in these moments. And like I was going through before, that's why your willpower definitely dwindles. Okay, so what else can we do? Second tip is going to be front loading your training. So a lot of time when people are busy socially or they're busy work-wise, they'll get to Monday and go, oh, well, I've got loads of time to get my training in, so I'm going to train Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, that's not going to help you. Okay? You need to, and I push my guys to do this all the time, get your first training session done on Monday. Don't care when you get it done, just get it done. Ideally, first thing in the morning, because then it's done. Then you can look after your stats, your food, etc. But setting yourself up for success is incredibly important when it comes to, especially the wintertime, but keeping your motivation high. Because you do not want to be getting to Wednesday, Thursday and going, oh, right, okay, now I need to get my 3 sessions done. Like, if you get to Friday and your 3 to 4 sessions are done, and you have the time and you have the space and you also have the motivation to maybe go do an extra session, cool, you've got the space to do so. You don't want to have a social event on a Friday and you go, oh, I've not done my 3rd session or my 4th session. I'm going to have to do a hangover. You're already feeding into being negative, being demotivated, being in lack of energy, and really struggling through training, motivation, Christmas, social events, and you're going to make it harder for you. So you really need to lean into that. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, absolutely non-negotiables for your training. Anything extra is going to be positive. Okay, and the same goes to, I'm sorry, my coffee is going cold, and I love you dearly, but not more than coffee. Now, especially when it comes to your steps and your activity, right? Weekends, they will become chaotic. Build your steps up earlier in the day. Like, if you've got a 10K step day, for example, target. Now, yes, obviously, ideally, you hit that every single day, okay? And really, there isn't much excuse why you can't. But what you can do is, let's say, Monday to Friday, let's go get 12 or 10, 12 to 15. If you know that you are really going to struggle for time when it comes to social event planning, maybe you're traveling on Saturday, Sunday. That way, at least over 7 days, you've averaged your weekly target. Okay, now you don't want to be doing this every single week and just kind of being fluctuating up and down all the time, but it's just when you have these social events. Really push yourself, be active, and get most of your activity done earlier on in the day. Okay, let's use me for example. Like, life is very busy. We've got a hell of a lot going on, but what I want to make sure of is I get most of my steps done, let's say by 3 p.m. because I know, well, I have coaching calls in the evening, and I may have a couple of guys wanting to join the team. I may have, just need to drop things at a drop of a hat. Well, if I'm getting to 8, 9 p.m., I'm not going to go and do my steps. Obviously, if I've got a target I need to hit, then I'm going to force myself to do so, but it's making myself in the best position possible to succeed instead of just making things so much harder for myself. And you need to do the same. Okay. You're never going to do it. If you're going to put yourself off and you're going to say, okay, I'll do them later. I'll do them at lunch. I'll do them after this. There's always going to be something that pops up. So if you can make your day so much easier for yourself, it's going to just make sure that you're going to be more successful with your diet. It's going to make sure you're more successful with flexibility. And it's going to make sure that you're going to enjoy these social events that little bit easier. Now, Starbucks is getting a bit busier. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God. But here we are. We're pushing ourselves to do so. Now, we sat down with our guys and we plan out their training, their social events, when are their gyms open? Is there any exercises that need to just be able to adapt as well? But I really want you after this to be able to sit down and plan out your December. When are you training? Are you going to go traveling? Are you visiting family? Like, what meals are you going to have? When are you being social? And sit down and plan it. You're an adult at the end of the day, right? You can sit down and plan your week, your month, your days. It is not difficult to do. It just requires effort. You'd very happily, and this is very on topic, sit on Netflix and watch Stranger Things for the next, 5, 10 hours. But you sitting down and planning your food, your training, when you're going to be active is apparently too much effort. It's not too much effort. You're just not prioritizing it. It's easy to do. And for the sake of spending 10, 15 minutes of giving yourself clarity on where you are and what you can do, that's really, really worth the payoff. It's worth just a little bit of effort because you're going to go into January super motivated because you've done the work. And if you can do the work in December, you can do the work any time. So let's just make sure we do that, because the plan removes any kind of emotional decision making, especially when you're cycling calories. Emotional, you are going to be more emotional, you are going to be more reactive. And if you can just take care of that, it's going to make life so much easier. Now, like I mentioned, I've not drank all this yet, but when I do, I always make sure that I'm active the next day, whether it's going for a walk with the dog, whether it's going to go meet friends and go do something. Obviously, we've got lots of lakes, etc. around here. Like, that's going to make sure that I'm committing to something, as opposed to sitting on my backside and being hungover. And that's always going to lead to negative habits, right? So it's going to lead to me finding what's in the cupboard. It's going to find me not rehydrating. It's going to find me not being active, not hitting my step target. So my step target is probably going to be a couple of hundred because I've gone to the bathroom a few times and I've just sat on the sofa. What's that going to do for your motivation? What's that going to do for your consistency and your willpower and your discipline when you're wanting to really improve how you feel and how you are? You want to be able to socialize. You want to be able to have balance. You have to be able to do the work to be able to, I don't want to say the word deserve it, but to not feel guilty with it. You want your cake and you want to be able to eat it. So you have to do the work when you're not feeling like you're wanting to do so. So get out, get sunlight. If you're in the UK, just get out. You're not going to get sunlight for a while now, but go for the long walks. Go for a light session. Just get some blood moving, because doing nothing is going to make that fatigue worse. Okay. So with that, I've got some minimum standards I want you to be able to work towards now. So 3 minimum workouts per week. Okay, get them done. Get them done on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, don't just push them for the sake of doing so. And I would ideally have a day's rest in between each one. If you're doing 3 sessions, for example, John, I think he listens to the podcast, just went by. But if you listen, if you train 3 days, have a day's rest in between. If you train 4 days, have that day's rest on a Wednesday. Because if you're training properly, you're training to progress, you're training to get stronger, you are going to have muscle soreness, and you need to give your time, you need to give your body optimal time to be able to recover. If that's not the case, you're going to struggle. Okay. So number 2, 8 minimum steps per day. If you're someone who has the time, has the availability to do more, go do more. Okay. If you sit at a desk all day, you've got family, you've got kids, and physically you do not have the time, cool. But if you work at home, get yourself a walking pad. I've pushed so many of my guys to get a walking pad, and the results have been phenomenal because they work, let's say 10-hour days. They're stuck at home all day and they're like, oh my God, well, I live in London, for example, don't feel very safe. It's dark, it's wet, it's miserable. Cool. Well, let's get a stand-up desk, let's get a walking pad, and let's make it active, because if the more active you are, the more calories you can have. Okay, because it means that your energy expenditure is going to be more. So use it to really to help you. Number 3 is have a higher protein intake. Sorry, my battery is low here, but we will keep on plugging on. Now, have a higher protein intake, because if your protein is higher, you're going to be fuller for longer. You're going to see more progress in the gym. And kind of a rule of thumb, obviously, I don't know you, I don't obviously know your requirements, but aim for a pound per pound of body weight, a gram of protein. So if you're 170 pounds, 170 grams of protein. 10, 15 either side, not a problem. But if you're, for example, you're aiming for 170, but your protein at the minute is, let's say 80, 90 grams, then I guarantee you the quality of your food is awful. You're not prioritizing yourself. You're not giving yourself the building blocks to be able to grow, to be able to have your physique, your energy, your recovery, your strength in the best position. So you really need to focus on it. Number 3 or number 4 is going to be your water intake. Okay, so it's so easy to get 3-4 liters of water a day. Now, let me get it because it's down here. Ugh. Big bottle of water here, so 1.5 liters. It's so easy to get your hydration in. Again, if you just sit down and plan it, and again, the difference it makes is huge. Okay, with your training, with your activity, with your skin, with your sleep, with your mood, with your alertness. But so many people just sleep on it, as in they don't prioritize it. Have your creatine in there, have a hydration supplement in there, get your electrolytes in there, because just water isn't enough, right? Sling some cordial in there, you're all good. It's not going to damage you. It's really going to help you there. Okay, now the way that I do it is I'll have 1.5 liters by 9 o'clock, by 12, 1 p.m., and then I won't have any more water after my evening meal. So after about 6 o'clock, because otherwise I'll be up all night. And there's a really big thing, because when people really start to introduce being hydrated properly, they struggle with that. They struggle with making sure that they aren't going to the toilet all the time because they just neck it for the sake of it. Okay, and then they're up all night. The one thing that really helped me is stopping at 6 p.m. Obviously, if I need some water, I'll have sips, right? But that's really helped the quality of my sleep, because I've not gotten up once during the night since I've started doing that, which means the quality of my sleep's good, my REM is good, my deep sleep is good, and my alertness when I actually wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I've actually had quality rested sleep instead of struggling throughout the day. So that's a big bonus for you. What's next on here? Let me check my notes. Be stricter with yourself with drinking. I would highly suggest it. Like, at the end of the day, you drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you are doing yourself a lot of damage when it comes to your motivation, your recovery, your sleep. Like, not demonizing drinking, but it's obviously not good for you to be doing it consistently, right? For you to be going out drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, have a rule with yourself. If you're going to drink, and let's say you drink heavy on one night, you don't have to drink that other night if you're trying to have balance, if you're trying to progress, if you're trying to not just blow your calorie intake for the week. If you want to go and drink every weekend, cool. If you want to drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday, cool. Who am I to judge? But don't come to me complaining that you're not progressing, that you're demotivated, that your scales are fluctuating, that you're not making any progress. Like, you can have your cake and eat it, but you just have to have the balance within it. And then just think, like, 80% consistency in regards to all of this. And that's where you're going to find balance within it. But you just have to be disciplined with yourself. Sorry, my coffee is going cold here. Now, it's giving yourself a successful environment. Okay, so say for example now you have all the sweet treats, you have all like the beige food in your house, in your freezer, in your cupboards, ready to go for when you're hungover. You're going to eat it. You're going to overconsume on it because you're in that emotional state. You are fatigued and you are under recovered. So if you're one of these people, then you need to plan that in. You know you're going to be socializing. You know how you feel, so you're going to go be active. You're going to meal prep for the day after, the day before, so that you've got these good, healthy, nutritious meals that are going to fill you up. They're going to help you feel better instead of leaning into more of, oh, well, I'm hungover. I'm not going to feel great. I may as well just have this comfort food. And it's again about being disciplined. You do that, you're going to have the best of both worlds. Okay. And planning isn't obsessive, right? It's being responsible. And it's also just knowing and weighing up what is your goals for yourself for the end of the year and also for 2026 to make sure that you're in the best position possible. So that's where really people who succeed separate themselves. And that's really what I want for yourself. I want you to be able to succeed. So December doesn't have to ruin your progress. Okay. Hopefully this has been able to educate you and kind of inform you on what you can do to be able to have that balance, to have results and just not completely blow the work that you've done. And hopefully that's helped. So I will see you on the next version of the podcast, whether that's in Starbucks, whether that's somewhere else, but I'll see you then.